Number Jason.
Jace Hinton, and he's kind of the do-all guy.
Jace Hinton, Jace, welcome to the ballpark, brother.
We started talking like sports, and Jace is on fire.
I know.
What's going on, everybody? Media Man and friends here are back with another episode. I'm really excited about this episode. It's been a while since I've gotten to talk to this guy. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Trey Morill. Trey, tell the people about yourself, man.
Yeah, Trey Morill, as you obviously just stated. Me and Jace went to school together in high school. Got to play a little ball together, baseball. And from high school, I went to Yavapai and JC in Arizona, and then had a little rough patch and from COVID and stuff like that. And then now I'm playing some professional baseball. So
Yeah, Trey is currently a part of the Rocky Mountain Vibes, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Of the Pioneer League, which used to be the rookie ball league of all the major league teams. As he stated, we played high school ball together. Trey was a senior when I was a freshman, so I was just a little baby coming into high school. He really, Trey, one of my favorite things is we kind of got to know each other because I left my glove in the dugout. My freshman year, he picked it up. I gave him a Gatorade, whatnot. So that's kind of how I got to know Trey. He was you were two-sport athlete in school, right?
Yeah.
Basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
Talk about what made your decision to go baseball rather than basketball in college.
Yeah, honestly, going into high school, I thought I was definitely going to be a basketball player. Didn't really care what division, where I played. I just wanted to play ball. That's what I really worked on, harder and harder and harder. Like the Fruita Rec Center, I was there like every day, every chance I could get. But then it was really towards junior year, I ended up pitching great. It was like a breakout season for me. Had a perfect game junior year. It was a 5-inning perfect game, so it
Still counts.
It still counts, but it still wasn't the 7 innings. So I gotta throw that in there. It's kind of like an asterisk point, you know what I'm saying?
It is.
But yeah. Ended up getting to play for the Colorado Rockies scout team, and then I got a lot of exposure there for baseball pitching wise, and I was really like thinking that I was going to get drafted at one point. I was kind of getting some visits, like scouts were coming to my house and talking to me, like the Nationals and the Rays at that point were talking to me really seriously, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get drafted. So that's really what kind of moved my way to baseball.
So then you decide baseball was your route. Was a lot of your offers out of high school, junior college, or was it like you wanted to go play in JUCO?
No, I struggled academically in school, like really bad. So most of my opportunities were JUCO. There was a couple D2s, a lot of D2s, but I just wasn't thinking I was ready for that jump yet. So I kind of went the JUCO route because of the academic stuff too.
Gotcha. So Yavapai, obviously those that watch the show that are from Grand Junction, Yavapai is a name that comes up a lot with their appearances in the JUCO World Series. What led you to go play, out of all the offers you had, to pick Yavapai?
Tyler Boggs.
Boggs, yep. Boggs was your catcher pretty much throughout your high school career, yeah?
Yeah, and even beyond that, dude. We were throwing together when we were like 9 years old on the Mavs, which is a local team in Grand Junction. You know about that, but like it was just so cool because the very first time I threw a pen my freshman year, I'm throwing to Tyler Boggs, and I'm throwing decently well. Coach is there, and he's like trying to make it intimidating and whatnot. He goes, man, you're really comfortable with Boggs behind the dish. I was like, how couldn't I be? He's like one of the best catchers I've had. Still probably the best catcher I've had. Shout out to all my catchers though, but like still.
all the when it's as a catcher myself, when you get really comfortable with a pitcher, it's like nothing else ever matters. It's you and him, and that's it.
Yeah, and like what to call before that guy is even called it. It's just boom, boom, boom. That's why they call it the battery. So
yep.
Yeah.
So in your first season at Yavapai, you had 6 appearances, 2 wins, no losses, 1 save, 26 inning pitch, and 26 and a third, 2.05 ERA, 25 strikeouts, and 2 of those wins were complete games. What was that first season at Yavapai like?
So I believe, sorry for doing this, but I believe that's the COVID season.
Was that the COVID season?
Yeah.
Okay, it might have been, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it gets cut off right here.
Yeah, but
it was COVID season.
But going into the season, I had no idea what to expect that freshman year, man. It was just that unknowing feeling. What am I going into? I mean, I went in there. Our third baseman, he was a freshman at the time. He's in the MLB or is like in and out of the MLB, Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Yeah.
He was our third baseman. Dominic Hamill was one of our ace on the mounds, and he's in the Mets organization. I'm pretty sure he might be making his debut this season for them. I'm not sure on that, though. And it was just like surreal because I was so used to pitching and like doing my thing in high school, and then you go over there and everyone does the same exact thing in college, especially in that Arizona baseball is just different no matter where you go. So
those JUCOs those are very different. We played them in my post grad. We played all those JUCOs. Yavapai was one of them. So I found the right numbers. So you started 12 games. You were 8-3 with 1 save, 76 total innings pitched, a 2.25 ERA, and 85 strikeouts. So that's the right stat line. Then the next season, obviously, what was that COVID season like though? Like, because you guys start playing, obviously, as I talked about, and then you guys just kind of get shut down midway through.
Bro, yeah, and we were like ranked. I don't want to say like a specific number because I can't remember off the top of the head, but I know for sure it was top 5. We had only lost like 3 games. 3 to 6 games, somewhere around there. So we were just balling out, and we had a whole bunch of returners. We had just that previous season, we had lost to Central Arizona, who had went on and won the whole World Series. So we kind of had like a bitter taste in our mouth for that. And we were coming in focused, and we were hot at the point. And then, like, I remember we went to Arizona for something. It wasn't baseball related or anything. It was just college days,
Yeah.
We're coming back because me and Riley Egloff, another pitcher at the time, he's actually on the GJ Jackalopes now. He and I were driving back for a bullpen. We get a text, and he's like, Jerry Dawson, our coach, he's like, we no more season. And I had to pull over because I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Like, this is for real. This is scary.
Yeah.
What about you? What was it like for you?
Man, we were in high school, and it's funny, like, we talk about it now, and earlier that year we had the norovirus go through town, and they shut down school for a week. And so when we found out, we were playing a morning high school game, like actual like regular season game, and guys were making jokes, and Coach Haas got on us, and he's like, "Hey, none of that." And we're like, "Coach, we'll be fine." Like, I don't know what. We get done playing, and we're sitting at Roosters on 6 and 50, and we get a text that we're going to be playing that night at the park at Supplesio. We're like, okay. And I get like a phone call like 10 minutes later. Hey, you're going to be starting behind the plate. My first varsity start behind the plate. I was like, okay, like, yeah, I'm good with this. Like, let's go. We go play, and then literally after the game, our head coach goes, "Hey, we're done for the year." Or, well, we're done for 2 weeks is what he said. Done for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? And each week it was like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Well, we went on to spring break. Well, we weren't going to practice. We weren't going to play. So I went to Arizona with my family. That my grandparents go down for spring training every year. I'm thinking, great, I'll catch some spring training games, big stuff. Then they cancel spring training as we're on the way down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that's out. And then my mom, working in the district, she's a teacher in the school district, gets a phone call, and you can just see her facial expressions changing. And we find out that we're going online for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So a lot for me was just, I'm in high school. It's fine. Like, I felt bad for, I had a couple buddies that were seniors that year. Julian Chambers, Keenan Garcia, Kyle Anderson. Like, those guys were seniors.
Right.
They weren't going to get the proper graduation.
Right.
So it was for me, it wasn't really weird because I was in high school. I was home anyways.
Yeah, fair enough.
Those of you guys that were in college, you guys had maybe been there a year or a semester, and now you got to go back.
Yeah.
It was a whole situation. Okay, so Yavapai happens, COVID happens. You said COVID was a weird time.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing during the COVID time and after COVID to get to where you are now with the vibes?
Yeah. So during COVID, obviously being at home was just such a change up in everybody's life and messed with everybody differently. So I just started doing just dumb things. From partying too much to so on and so forth. I don't need to get into all that stuff, but there was a time where I was sitting in my car and I had all my stuff in my car, didn't have my place. I just got kicked out of place because I was partying too much, and it was just a realization. It was really God, honestly. I was just at my lowest. I'm like, what the heck do I need to do, man? The only thing I've ever been super great at and just super confident at is baseball. And I stopped playing baseball. What? And I just was like, well, let me start going around, seeing what I can do about this. And I started calling a whole bunch of NAIAs in Arizona.
Yep.
Went to Ottawa, Arizona, which is the saving grace in my life for sure.
Yeah.
Coach Monty, Coach Montez, I called him. It was the very first interaction. I was like, hey, coach, this is me, Trey Morill. Went to Yavapai, played there, pitched well, and then told him my story. And I was like, I'm trying to get back on track, get my school degree stuff and everything. And he's like, come on, welcome on. Here's a scholarship. I hadn't played in a year and a half. Here's a scholarship. And I was like, I need to go. This guy believes in me and stuff like this. So I get there, and it's exactly what I needed. It was discipline, because I get there, and because of my previous semester, I didn't show up to class at CMU when I signed to go there. So I failed all the classes. And so I'm not eligible to play NAIA. So I'm just like, holy cow, what am I going to do? Well, I get my grades up, do all that stuff. But the great part is I'm in the middle of the Texas Rangers spring training facility. It's so I'm going to take the most of I can get out of that.
Yeah.
And then obviously the boys over there were awesome too. It was awesome to hang out, but just on the baseball standpoint, it was just I'm in the mecca of baseball. I get to work hard, and not to mention, I forgot the name of him. Anyway, but it was just a whole bunch of good experience there. I got to watch Texas Rangers guys throw, and it was just almost delusional to the fact I can do this, I can be there, I can see myself there. And so I just kept working, didn't get in at all that season because I was ineligible, but it was a good shift.
Yeah.
So I was always so used to being on being on the field playing, and then now I'm not. So it was just a good mental shift for me for that aspect. And then now it's like I started sending videos out to Mick Ritter. He was the GM at the time at Grand Junction Rockies.
Yep.
Now the Jackalopes, and he gave me a chance, dude. I was sitting there sending my video. I sent him LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Like, I'm not kidding you. I sent him everything. Same video, like same script. I was like, dude, I want a shot. Didn't hear from him for probably like a day and a half. And then he calls me. I'm in the middle of the living room, just like watching TV, not expecting anything because it was summer.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, you got to try out Wednesday. And I was like, oh, crap. Okay. So Wednesday comes around. I get there and I'm pitching. I have like 16 batters. I strike out like 10 or 11, and they sign me on the spot.
Damn.
And I'm like, heck yes, dude. This is like, thank you, Lord, all this great stuff. But it's like, and then I get to the first game, I don't get in, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, bad mentality to have. And then the second game in, don't get in again. I'm like really stressed. I'm like, why am I not getting in? Which was just like a rookie anxiety thing.
Yeah.
Finally get in my first game at Ogden against the Raptors, and first at bat against me. Boom! I'm not kidding. I've never seen a ball hit so hard, and the game sped up so dang fast, bro. It ended up being a fine outing, but still, I will never forget the first batter being a home run in Ogden. Yeah.
First ball you see and it's smoked, and you're like, shit.
I was like, oh, this is way different from JUCO ball, because that was the last previous competitive baseball I played. So it was just like, well, I need to start working harder now. And then I ended up getting cut a little later on in that season.
So you talked about at Ottawa. We saw each other when I was playing for postgrad and you were playing for Ottawa.
Yeah.
Ottawa and I have a mini rivalry history between the two of us, actually. I hit really well against them, and they didn't like it. But, you know, things like that are just kind of interesting how that works out.
Yeah.
So you go play for the Lobes. I see your help. Well, I've seen that you're helping out the old Central Warriors.
Yeah.
As a pitching coach?
Yeah.
You're still doing that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a backstory behind that. Before I even was wanting to be a Wildcat, when I was a bat boy for Central, and my dad was the pitching coach at Central with Coach Yost and Coach Kellerby. So it's the same, like, two guys. It's like a full circle moment in my baseball career, from bat boy to playing against them to now coaching with them, which is really cool.
Yeah, so your dad coached at Central. Were you always living in Fruita, or were you?
Yes.
Okay.
I've always been in that Fruita Loma area, but my dad graduated from Central and wanted to be a coach at the time, so that was kind of what happened between that thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I honestly, my whole family is Fruita grads, with the exception of my great grandfather, who was a Junction grad, which I don't know how that worked out, but everybody was Fruita grads on my mom's side, and I, like, going into my freshman year, tried to convince my mom to let me transfer to Central to play baseball, because I've always heard stories of my dad and my mom talking. My dad was from Cortez, which used to play Fruita, Junction, all those schools.
Yeah, right.
And I always used to hear them tell stories of how good Central was. Little did I know how good Fruita was at the time.
Got you, right.
So she wouldn't let me do it, so that's when I ended up coming in and being a freshman at Fruita. And yeah, you and Boggs and Drew and like all your senior class, like you guys, like I came in to catch a bullpen during a preseason game for you guys, and just watching you guys go about the way you guys went about things, and I mean, we were beating the shit out of a team that we should have beat the shit out of, and you guys still weren't happy with it. And I remember looking at the guy that we were just there as bullpen guys, as bullpen catchers. I remember looking at him going, damn, well, we're up 10 runs, and these guys are like, nah, we need more. I'm like, okay. So it was just a whole, like, and then, like, obviously I followed your career. I followed Tyler's career as well. He obviously went on to do unreal things at Angelo State.
Insane.
I mean, got himself a natty.
Gold glove.
Yeah.
Freaking stud.
Shout out to Tyler, man. And then obviously I've continued to follow your career to the Lopes, to now the Vibes. You actually played with a guy that I met at postgrad. Danny, if I say his last name wrong, I'm sorry. Danny Noonan?
Danny Noonan, yeah.
Noonan, yes. I said it wrong when I was with him too. Faced him at postgrad. That's when I realized that the college level was another animal compared to the pro level.
Yeah.
Like,
no kidding.
That's when I realized. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But you guys played together.
Yeah.
So now you're going. Dude. Yeah. He's a dude, like, and especially coming from the left hand side. Lord.
Yeah.
You're going into another season with the Vibes.
Mm-hmm.
What are your expectations for yourself this year for the Vibes, and then the team, of course, as well?
Yeah. Honestly, build off of last year. I can't go in and think that I'm this great pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. I have decent stats for the Pioneer League, but there's still some work to do. There's still a goal that needs to be set, and there still needs to be. So I'm going in there just trying to build off of last season. There's really good things that happened last season and really bad things that happened last season. And I think this season will really be the test on, like, what type of professional pitcher I am. Because obviously with the Jackalopes, there was really high highs. I mean, I guess not obviously. I was third in the league in strikeouts, but I was also first in the league in walks as a Jackalope, as a starter. So there was really high highs and really high lows. Mm-hmm. Last year, I minimized the lows, still had them, but minimized them. This year, I know it's baseball, but I want to just keep minimizing everything.
Yep. Minimize everything every day. I wanted to ask you, because I believe you were teammates with Cuba Bess in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cuba signed with the Yuba High Wheelers.
Yep.
Do you talk to Cuba every now and then? Do you not talk to him?
Then. Actually, we hang out every now and then through mutual friends. Yeah.
So, what's that first at bat against Cuba gonna be like for you?
It's gonna be just like any other at bat.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't been around him a long time. It'll be cool knowing that it's Fruta, arguably top of Fruta in a long time at least.
Yeah.
Going at each other. So there's always that little factor, competitive factor, but it'll be cool. It'll be really cool. I'll know the feeling after the game for sure.
Yeah, definitely after the game. It's always cool, like, being a guy from Fruta, when you guys get to see, like, Fruta guys go at it, no matter what level it is. It could be junior college ball, it could be D1 ball, it could be pro ball, it could be high school ball, even, like when you're playing in travel ball. Like, It's always fun to get to face those Fruta guys, and even later on, you get to play the Junction guys, the Central guys, that kind of thing. Like, you get to know some of those guys really well.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, because I've asked a lot of people this different kind of a question. Which team, when you went and played against them at their place, granted we played Junction and Central, usually we're at Simplesio,
mm-hmm.
but which, like, place in the Valley or in the SWL or whatever was the hardest to play at, in your opinion, back in high school? Make you think back a little bit.
Yeah. I would have to say Central, honestly, just because of the background with it.
Yeah.
And those guys knew me well. I was not a good off-speed pitch or hitter.
Yeah.
I'd stick my butt out and swing over it every single time instead of taking it the other way. But Central for sure. But there's always, just because I was always ready for the Junction games. I was like for the Fruita Junction games, that was the big rivalry. So
Yep.
I'm always ready for that game.
The Junction game was always one that for me was, obviously being a Fruita kid, was super personal.
Yeah.
So the Junction games were always, I feel like a lot of Fruita kids are always ready for the Junction game.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, we'll get into 21 questions here, and we'll kind of just make our way through it here. What's your jersey number and why? And you can talk about all of them that you've ever worn if you want.
I'll just stick to the one I have now, and it's really simple. All my jerseys have been really simple, and for the most part, the same reason. My number right now for the Vibes is 31, and I was just given it. That was the
there
one.
You go.
Yeah, I really don't have a really big thing on numbers. My job is to throw strikes and see if the batter can hit it. And maybe I'll grow a sentimental part about a number someday, but I really don't have one. How about you?
I get you.
Do you have?
Well, so when I got into high school, actually, I wore 17 on the freshman team, but the guy that lettered ahead of me that was also in my class, Tucker Bunniger, wore 17 as well. So I wasn't going to be able to wear 17, I knew, my sophomore year. So I couldn't wear that. Then 11 was also taken by a guy who I was very good friends with, so I let him have it. Plus, my mom wore 11, my dad wore 17, so I was like, you know what, let's try to make my own like little thing.
Heck yeah.
So I ended up going with number 1, and I was like, well, at least I'm number 1 for something. That was kind of my thought process behind it. So I ended up being number 1, and then when I got to post grad, I was 31 for the same reasons I was just given it. So that's kind of why I wore those 2 jersey numbers. Really, was 1 and 31 those were my numbers. Just I had numbers going up, but when I got to high school, I was like, you know what, I want to wear this number because why not?
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Let's see. Who was your idol?
It was definitely, since I was a basketball fan and everything, it was definitely probably Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
Just because, man, it was just a different environment. The biggest reason was I went there for the first time watching them play. It was like 3rd, 4th grade. I forget the time. And he got to like get called out from a separate section from everybody else. And my parents had knew that, so they surprised us with tickets with that section. So it was just his separate section that he walked out.
Wow.
And so like during the call out, he was like standing right there, and then like I was trying to get a high five, and he went, missed me, and then like turned around and pointed at me because he didn't want to leave me hanging. And from there on, it was just like, I'm a Carmelo Anthony fan. Like, yeah, he's my goat.
There you go.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like, just I remember the Melo days, like, and then when he got traded, I was like, oh, typical Colorado thing. We're gonna trade a superstar.
Yeah, it just right on par, bro.
Literally. God, that shit sucks. Okay, you're a Colorado guy, so this you can pick one of these 2. What's your go-to like Chipotle Qdoba order?
Okay. If I'm going to Chipotle, it's the white rice. What's that like spicy chicken?
Oh yeah.
It's like the newer special.
Yeah, the newer spicy chicken. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it though.
Anyway, that double meat with that queso, corn. It's a bowl, by the way. Cheese, veggies, and then that's the order right there.
Okay, it's the chicken al pastor, I believe, is what it's called.
Al pastor. Yep.
Yeah, that's the spicy chicken at Chipotle for those of you who need that.
Yeah.
If you're trying to copy Trey's order, there you go.
Fire.
Yeah, but like, it's so funny. Like when I do these interviews, I don't get a lot of people who know about Qdoba.
Really?
Because like it really is like well, we found out in the last interview I did that there's a shit ton of Qdobas across the country now.
Okay.
But like a lot of them are mainly like there's like 90 of them in the state of Colorado.
Oh, okay.
But most of them are in the state of Colorado. So it's always kind of weird. Like I have it on my like little, I have it on my little notes thing, like the questions that I ask, so I don't forget them. Like Chipotle / Qdoba, just in case there is somebody who is more Qdoba than Chipotle.
Right.
But out of your pitches, your pitch sequence, which is your favorite pitch to throw 2 strikes?
2 strikes.
Like if you get to make the call, you're throwing this 2 strikes no matter what.
Recently, the fastball, just because I've been gaining my velocity, but in like history, it was definitely the slider.
Yeah, I remember watching the slider. I also got to face the slider. Not a fan. Not a fan at all because I couldn't touch the damn thing. Yeah, we have faced each other. Not like well, we faced each other live, but in some cages back in Junction, my first year at Highlands. And drilled me. Oh my gosh! I'll have. It was so. I remember that. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, here it comes. I'm like, oh, it's gonna break. Like I see the spin. I'm like, it's gonna break. It's not breaking. Ah, shit! Bang.
Yeah. I apologize for that.
But hey, man, it's part of the game, But then, then I saw the slider legitimately not hit me, and I did not touch it. I wasn't even close to touching it. Whoop! Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, are you a Powerade or Gatorade kind of guy? Like, if you get to pick,
Gatorade for sure.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are Gatorade. We're just a Powerade school out here.
Okay.
So it's kind of like,
It's right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly, I love the blue Powerade more than like my favorite Gatorade, but I like Gatorade more.
More so than Powerade. That makes sense. Who's your favorite artist? I think I know this one. But
Like
I'm gonna ask
music artist?
Yeah, music artist. Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Still, yeah.
I can remember you rolling up to games and practices, even blasting Kendrick. Like I can remember that.
Yeah, I don't know why I blasted it so loud, but we're out here.
We do it anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any hobbies that don't relate to baseball, or are you just like?
Yeah. Recently, I've been fly fishing. Yeah, just brand new at it. Like I don't even have waders yet, type deal. But which are just the waterproof for your legs, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's about. Hunting. I grew up hunting. I do woodworking on the side.
Okay.
I have a little side hustle business.
I do remember seeing some of that stuff. Yeah.
Just and hiking, really anything outdoors. I try to dibble dabble on everything, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. If you could have dinner, this actually might know this answer too, based off what you told me earlier. Dinner with any celebrity or athlete, who would it be?
Ooh. Dead or alive?
Yeah, dead or alive.
I would have to say I would want to go to dinner with Kobe Bryant, honestly.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Just his mindset, bro.
Yeah.
I need to talk. I want to, like, he has his book and that really breaks it down, but there's really nothing like being right there with somebody with that type of mentality.
Yeah. I mean, I did pitch a little bit too in high school. I actually had more offers to pitch than I did catch.
Okay.
But both my parents were pitchers and I didn't want to pitch. So I chose to catch in college, which looking back on it, maybe shouldn't have, but but when I did pitch, I had read or I had heard or seen an interview of something about Kobe and the Mamba mentality. So every time I went out to pitch, a lot of people thought I was psycho because I was like, I just went out there and I just did my thing. You might not remember this guy. During COVID, I watched a lot of old baseball games. John Rocker, he pitched for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
If you don't know who that is, look him up. He was something else. I went up to Idaho because I played travel ball with a travel team out of Utah because there wasn't a lot of travel teams that I knew of at the time out of Junction.
Right.
Right. It wasn't until later I learned about the Rocky Mountain Oysters. And I don't think I could have played for Gene Taylor, their team, because they were loaded with guys. So there wasn't like a spot available kind of thing. So I played for a team out of Utah. We go to Idaho. We're down 6 runs. And I'm pissed because one of the balls, I misread it in the outfield and it got over my head. So I was pissed because I felt like I was responsible for at least half of those runs,
Right.
I went out and I shoved, I think it was 5 scoreless and just like striking out guys left and right. And I just had everybody started calling me Rocker because all the coaches remembered John Rocker from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like my Mamba, like talking about Kobe, like that was my realization of that Mamba mentality for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that mentality is something else, completely different from what everything else is like.
Yeah, and you kind of hit on it where it's like you have to have like a separate personality almost.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people, it's like that flow state or whatever, but I'm the same way. You kind of said you went psycho, but I'm the same way. I'm just blank face. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how it would feel like a killer because I'm definitely not even close to one.
Yeah.
But like, that's what I imagine myself being.
Yep. Yeah, I go out there thinking like Scherzer.
Right. Yeah. It's just let's go to war.
It's like, Like, I mean, obviously the pro guys have been facing guys like that forever, but if I was to like step in the box against Scherzer, I'd be like, look, man, throw him right down Broadway. I'm just gonna watch him. Like, you good, bro? Okay.
Yeah, I know there's a screw loose, and I'm not trying to piss you off.
I mean, I even got to watch him in the All-Star game. I was lucky enough to go to the All-Star game at Coors.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I was sitting out in left field, but I was watching him, Scherzer, warm up because he started that All-Star game.
Right.
And even him warming up and him going out there, it's an All-Star game. The All-Star games at any level, the guys are having fun. Not Scherzer, bro. He was there. And he faced Ohtani, he faced Vlad Jr., and he faced, who was the 2-hole that year? I want to say it was Devers of the Red Sox, maybe.
That sounds about right.
I want to say that's who it was, but he just went out there and just. I'm like, bro, he does not give a shit that it's an All-Star game.
He's out there. Awesome to see.
Yeah, he's out there to just fucking. He's like, you say these are the best in the world? All right, boom. It's like, oh,
right,
shit, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was definitely fun to watch during the All-Star game. Like getting to see him live, was one of my favorite things ever. Because I was a senior in high school, so I was getting ready to go play at my JUCO. So that made me even start to think about maybe decommitting.
Right.
Because I went to a California JUCO, so we didn't have letter of intent. You just went.
Right. Got you.
And California was definitely not my scenery. That's why I ended up in Phoenix at postgrad. But it even made me start to think about decommitting and talking to those schools that wanted me to pitch. But thankfully I didn't. Now everything happened for a reason. I played out. I'm here. So, but yeah. Next question to you would be, what's one song that you can listen to on repeat? And it can be any song, anybody, any genre, anything.
Yeah, that's going back to Kendrick Lamar. Definitely, I'm not kidding you, the whole damn album, but if I have to bring it down, Love by Kendrick Lamar. It's just such a vibey song, bro. And it's so nostalgic because when you remember me, it was literally that song playing probably, and I was just that's where it kind of takes me back to simpler times a little bit.
Yeah. That and Money Trees was another one of
Yeah,
yours.
I
feel like
yeah.
that you listened to a lot, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
What's something people don't know about you that you want to share?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of things that it just put on the spot like that.
Yeah.
Dang.
We can come back to it too if you want
let's
to.
come back
Let's
to
do
that
it. Let's
one.
come back to it. Sounds good. What's your favorite type of movies?
Definitely, probably just like action.
Yeah.
I'm really basic. I don't watch many movies anymore. I tend to. It's kind of like I'll go year with watching movies, and then I'll go year with like playing video games and stuff
Oh,
like
okay.
that. Stuff like so. Not very good at video games, but
Neither am I. It's okay. It's all right.
What was the question? Sorry.
Just like your favorite type of movies.
Yeah, action.
Yeah,
sure.
action. What? So since you're talking video games, what video games you playing like right now? What are you playing?
I'm replaying Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh, so I had a roommate who played that when I was at Ventura, and I never really got into it, but now like I know a lot of people are really into it again. So I've been thinking about dabbling a little bit in the old Red Dead. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
It's kind of cool. I don't play online. Like I don't buy the membership because I don't play it enough.
Yeah.
But anything with good storylines, that's why I replace it with movies because like it's my head. It's like an interactive movie.
Yeah.
Type deal. So.
Yeah, I'm lucky with my Xbox. I remember how to turn it on because I just if I'm not doing like work or anything, I'm probably watching my phone because my job revolves around my phone, so it's kind of annoying. Okay, so then you said you don't watch a lot of movies. You watch a lot of TV shows though?
Used to.
Used to?
My all-time like go-to if like I had to throw something on right now would be Friends though.
Friends, yeah. I was gonna ask if there's any shows that you're binging right now, or like any shows that you're just watching that you want to recommend for people.
I watched Yellowstone. That's like the most recent new one, and if you haven't watched that, that's a badass show for sure.
Yeah, definitely go check out Yellowstone. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it's something that I definitely would recommend people go watch for sure.
It's pretty cool.
So, all right, Trey, we'll get you out of here now. Oh, actually, let me ask this one. I'm curious. Favorite sports team, any sport?
Denver Nuggets for sure.
The Nuggets, Jokic and Murray, and
dude.
Oh my Lord, they're so fun to watch right now.
Yeah, they are.
So fun to watch. All right, we'll get you out of here. Any last words for the people?
Hey, thank you for having me, dude. It was
of course.
It's fun to connect again and chat a little bit, and hopefully we can chat outside of this too. So
definitely will. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching Media Man and Friends. We're gonna have another guest on every week, like we always do. Want to thank Trey for coming out. Trey, appreciate it, man. Of course, as always. Y'all check back. Make sure you check out the channel and everything, and we'll see y'all later.
Sweet. See you.